Yoseo, hello, all my beautiful people, and welcome to the alternate point of view. Welcome to everyone who is new here, and welcome if you have been with me from the beginning and are still subscribing, liking, and sharing this channel. I greatly appreciate you all so much. Today, we are going to be talking about a woman who was a mother, a teacher, and someone who was taken out of this world at the prime of her life. Her name is Ashley Smiley, and she was from an area in Mississippi called Brandon, Mississippi. She was a petite little woman, blonde hair, blue eyes, very intelligent, a well-beloved teacher, and she taught math, which was is probably one of the toughest subjects for many people, me in particular. So I have to say, she was a very smart woman, and she was a mother of two beautiful daughters, one who passed away at a very, very young age. And she had another daughter who was 14 years old and went to the very high school that she taught at. And Ashley was a loving mother, overprotective mother, but I mean, who wouldn't be of a 14-year-old daughter? She was a mindful mother. She planned everything out. She loved walks, reading. I mean, it's almost like giving you a dating profile for this woman, but she really was a well loved person in the community, well known. She was like teacher of the year. She just really was well known in her community. Um, and she is very missed, I do believe, by everyone in her community, her family. She's originally from Florida. That's where she loved being. She loved being on the beach. And she loved her two golden retrievers that she had. She had a yellow golden retriever and she had a white golden retriever. And she just loved them. Their names were Wyatt and Finn. And I don't know if you know much about Mississippi, but Mississippi is in the South, obviously. Very beautiful, green, lush area. So she was from a town, city called Brandon, which was probably a little over 100,000 people. So in Mississippi, that's a pretty good size area. And she taught at a North Rankin High School. And she, had a lot of students that adored her, loved her. She was a pretty fair teacher. And she also went to church, Baptist church, and she was just, a all around typical, normal, everyday person that just went to work every day and taught kids. And her child also was a student at the school that she taught at, North Rankin High School. And one day, out of the blue, poor Ashley Smiley, who goes to school, takes her daughter, Carly, Gregg is her daughter, goes to school, takes her to school. She's lucky. She gets to ride to school with her mom, doesn't have to ride the bus. She goes to school with her mom, and Carly is a typical preteen, or I guess teenager. And she's, going through her trials and tribulations as a teenager. And, Carly is experimenting with things. She's smoking a little bit, vaping a little bit. She's trying to sneak around with phones and whatnot. Ashley is, I don't want to say newly married, but she is married to a new guy. She has had a tumultuous breakup with her ex, Carly's father, and they're obviously going through some custody visitation situation. Carly's father is not in the best of conditions. He has some addiction issues, but she has a good relationship with her stepfather, Heath Smiley. And Heath Smiley and Ashley Smiley have been married since about 2020, and it is now 2024, and it's March 2024. And Ashley and Carly go to school like a normal day every day, and they come home from school like a normal day every day, except for this day. Ashley and Carly are having a conversation, And I don't know if this conversation is heated, but it's not a great conversation because Ashley's having to confront Carly with some information she's received from one of Carly's friends. And it is about Carly doing some sneaking around with some burner phones. And burner phones, I don't know if you know, these are just like prepaid phones, basically, you get from the store. And I guess her dad, Carly's father, has talked her into getting these phones to have communication with him behind uh, Ashley, the mother's back. And also, Carly is using these vape pens. I guess she's trying to be cool. Now, just to let you know, Carly is super, super smart. She's already in 10th grade at 14 years old, which is pretty impressive. Carly is way above everyone else as far as the intellectual level is concerned. She's so far above everyone else. She's pretty bored at school, and she gets her smarts from her mama. So, her mama being a math teacher and all, Carly's pretty smart. So she's already in 10th grade at 14 years old. She's already gone up two levels of everybody else, and that's pretty good. So Carly loves school. She's doing great in school. She's not a bad child. She's just trying to fit in. She's experimenting a little bit with the vape pens, but overall, she's not a bad child. She's got a great relationship with her mom, a great relationship with her stepdad, and she's having a little rough patch with her parents as far as visitation is concerned. But overall, not really any major issues. I think she had a little cheating scandal with at school, but nothing too major. Just enough to have she had to go to alternative school because she did have a little cheating scandal, and that's not like her at all. Because she is so smart, she doesn't have to cheat. But I think she got talked into giving some answers to some other kids because she's trying to fit in. Also, she's a teacher's kid. And it's kind of like, I don't know if y'all know if you've ever been associated with the preacher's kid or something like that. But those kids are always trying to be the cool kids or fit in or, what have you. So they do things that are out of their norm or out of their personality to just try to fit in. And that's kind of where Carly was at. She was trying to fit in. And so she was doing things out of her behavior, I guess you could say, just to be cooler. I'm not really sure. But on this particular day in March, just a few months ago, it really hasn't been that long. Carly just had her trial, believe it or not, last week. And why would Carly have a trial? Why are we having this conversation? Why are we doing this video? Well, because Ashley, Carly's mom, is no longer with us. Ashley was found by her husband on March 19th, 2024, when he came home from work a little after 5 in the afternoon after receiving a text message of who he thought was his wife asking him if he was going to be home, honey. And he said he would be a little bit, but yeah, he was going to be home. And he was welcomed to his home with shots towards his head. Luckily, those shots missed and went in his shoulder instead, through and through. And you can hear the screams on the video camera that they have in their house. They had cameras in the garage, camera in the kitchen, and you can hear him screaming, Carly, Carly. And it is because Carly had just done the unthinkable of what is that she went and decided that afternoon, after coming home from school with her mother, this woman that seems to have loved her daughter and built her world around this little girl. This 14-year-old little girl decided to go into the house, let the dogs out into the backyard, come back into the house, as you saw in the beginning of this video, where she made the conscious decision as her mother was going into her bedroom, Carly's bedroom, looking for whatever evidence she could find that Carly was misbehaving with either the burner phones or the vape pens or whatever it was that Ashley was looking for. Carly made the decision to go into her mother's bedroom and retrieve a weapon and then look around the corners for her mother and then sneak up on her mother, as you saw in the video. And then you heard the shots and the screams. And in her mother's face, there would be 2 wounds that were fatal, and 1 under her chin. I don't know what sequence that these shots were done, but I can say for a while after hearing this evidence come forward, many people were shocked and awed and very upset, thinking a 14-year-old could do this to her mother. And to know that Carly was sitting in solitary confinement in an adult prison and being tried as an adult. And not only did she do this to her mother, but she went back into the kitchen and very nonchalantly texted her stepfather as if she was her mother and asked him, "When will you be home, honey?" And then attempted to do the same to her stepfather. But not before texting and FaceTiming several of her friends to come over, before convincing one of her friends to finally come over and say, "Are you squeamish around demised bodies?" And then putting a towel over her mother's head and showing this friend her demised mother, before trying to inflict the same injuries on her stepfather when he returned home. It's on video, you guys. It's on video. The sounds and the movements of Carly and how calm she is. And then to watch the trial and to see Carly, and the entire time you're looking at this little girl and thinking, what? How? Why? And you want to make sense of it all. You want to think, could this little girl do this? Was she insane? As her defense team was trying to make out that she was insane, they didn't take a plea deal that she was offered for 40 years. She should have taken the plea deal, you guys. She should have taken the plea deal, because Carly, in the state of Mississippi, she was sentenced the same day she was found guilty of what she did to her mother and attempted to do to her stepfather. And she was sentenced, the jury sentenced her to life in prison. A 14-year-old, now 15 years old, will spend the rest of her life in prison for what she has done to her mother. Now, at first, I too was thinking, this is so sad. This child is going to be in prison with adults. And how could this be? I can't imagine what she's going through. But then I realized three things, three times in her mother's face. And I thought, she consciously did this. She could have stopped after the first, well, she could have not done it at all, but she could have stopped after the first one because you can hear her mother scream. She could have stopped, but she chose not to. And she didn't have to do this or attempt to do this to her stepfather, but she chose to follow through. She had many, many, many moments to not do this. She even called several friends, and she had a friend even show up and come over and still continue to do this. It amazes me that she had the wherewithal and the forethought to think this through enough and even sneak around the house and look around the corners. That means she knew. And I am sorry, but children start to manipulate and deceive and be little conniving things when they are toddlers, when they're babies. They start to realize that they can get one over on you very, very early. And they know right from wrong. And Carly knew right from wrong. Now, did she understand the consequences and repercussions? Maybe not. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if children understand what is happening or what's going to happen or what their future is. I'm not really sure if she understood the plea deal. I'm not really sure if, I don't really know any of all of those things. I'm not sure. I do know that I sent that video to my therapist because I wanted to understand, could this child possibly have been, insane? Could she possibly have not known what she was doing? But even my therapist saw this video. She saw the case and she was like, oh no, this little girl knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly. I mean, down to the calling, picking up the phone and texting the stepdad. She knew. This little girl did not have a horrible life. She had a fairly decent upbringing. She had some traumatic events happen. I mean, losing your sister at a very young age is not something that's to be taken lightly. To have a father that is an addict is not something that's fun, I can tell you. But Carly was super duper smart. She had a loving mother. Was she overprotective? Probably. But she had a stepdad who adored her. And a lot of people were saying some really nasty things in the comments because the stepdad got up and testified basically on behalf of Carly, even though he was a prosecution witness. And a lot of people were making comments, some pretty gnarly comments about the stepdad and Carly. And after I actually went back and rewatched his testimony, I do believe that he really believed that there was an intruder in the house because he was not expecting what Carly did. He did barely get in the door before Carly was, bang, bang. Had no idea. And he really did believe there was somebody in the house. And he saw what he saw and called 911. I think he just wanted to he sees her as a child. I don't believe that there's anything nefarious going on between Carly and her stepdad, as people are insinuating. I don't believe he's had time to process all of this still. It literally, if you think about it, he just lost his wife in March. The trial just happened last week. There has been no time for him to even have an opportunity to actually mourn the loss of his wife, because he's gone from the loss of his wife to straight into the arrest of his stepdaughter to having to jump into this legal battle. And now, I mean, this is just a nightmare. So I imagine he's having to mourn the loss of his wife and the loss of his stepdaughter that he had a very good relationship with. And I don't think there was anything nefarious going on. I really believe that the family is just trying to figure out how to pick up all the pieces. So I feel badly for him that he has just his entire life has been upended. I hope anyway that is what is happening. I don't want to think that there is anything yucky going on between him and Carly, as a lot of people in the comments were suggesting, because he was really defending her. I think it's wonderful that she has the support of her family. She is still a child, even though she did a horrific thing. And I do believe there is some type of something there between Carly and her mother for her to do what she did the way she did it. I mean, the that is something is there. And also even my therapist that I, you know, was messaging back and forth said there's something there. There's something to it, that she was so went for that area. So I wanted to do this video. There's not a whole lot of information about Ashley or Heath. Heath worked in physical therapy. He worked during the day just like Ashley did. So they were both available parents. They were home in the evenings. They were home at night and on the weekends. So they both were home. Carly was pretty much monitored for the most part. She wasn't allowed to have her cell phone in her bedroom, unsupervised for the most part. They monitored, they put parental controls on her phone. So I believe they were doing the best they could. I think Carly wanted a little bit more freedom. She was 14. She was in 10th grade, so she was around kids that were older. I believe that Carly just made a very, very permanent decision for a temporary problem. I unfortunately believe that kids today, with social media and just the way the instantaneous satisfaction of things, the right now, right here, right now things, that's what's happening. I believe that's what the uptick is of the kids doing these things that they're doing. I say that, but I also think, also look at the Menendez brothers. They too did this same horrific thing to their parents, but they didn't have social media. They didn't have all of this stuff, but it wasn't social media, but there was media, and it sensationalized them and made them feel like they were heroes when they weren't. So I would say kids are doing things because I have seen videos of teachers taking cell phones away from kids, and these kids are flipping out because they can't have their cell phone. So something is very, very wrong here if kids are flipping out that much over a cell phone. So I believe that Carly just very calmly lost it. And she made a very permanent decision for something that she wanted and couldn't have it at that moment, which is crazy. But she did it. And now her mom is no longer here. And what is also crazy to me is when watching the trial, she wasn't really upset about her mother. She was very upset about her stepdad, but not upset about her mother. And even in the body cam footage with the police officers, she didn't ask about her mother. She asked about her stepdad. Was her stepdad okay? So a lot of people were thinking that there was something going on with Carly and her stepdad because she was more concerned about her stepdad. And when the opening statements were being given, when they watched the body cam footage, she was very upset watching her stepdad, and upset that he was on the stand. But I don't know if she was upset about her stepdad, maybe because she missed, or that she was really concerned about her stepdad. I'm not really sure. I don't know what to make of that, but they have a very good relationship. They talk every day. It's odd, but I don't think there's anything nefarious. I will say I do find it hard to believe that she's not more upset about her mom. But again, there seems to be something that we don't know about, something underlying that we don't know about. There were many, many, many doctors that testified for Carly, against Carly, a lot of conversation about medication changes, things like that. Again, with the medication, we've heard this many times in other trials. Uh, and we had one doctor up there that explained it very, very well. This medication that she was taking takes many weeks to be in your system. Uh, it's not an overnight thing. You don't feel this medication right away. She was on Zoloft, then she was on Lexapro. These medications take several weeks to be in your system. So it's not like you would notice a difference like that. So these medications also don't make you want to really hurt others per se. It really makes you want to more hurt yourself. That's why they caution people, especially teenagers, kids, on these medications, because it does make kids and younger minds, brains, their levels tend to be more uh, inward and want to do things to themselves. I'm not a doctor, so I will caveat this off that I'm not a doctor. Okay. But I do know about these medications. You can look it up yourself, even on the internet. You can ask your doctor. But also, if you've ever been on any of these SSRIs or any medications like that that mess with your serotonin levels, you would know. I've been on Prozac pretty much for I can't tell you how many years. Prozac is cheap and it works really well. I don't know why most doctors don't start people off on Prozac, because it works well and it's inexpensive and it has less side effects than Zoloft or Lexapro or any of these other medications that doctors put you on, because they have less side effects. Prozac to me has less side effects, but I mean, what do I know? Again, I'm not a doctor. So I would just say that, you know, pretty much when doctors put you on these medications, it's a process of elimination. So they start you off on one and you're like, it makes me feel weird. I don't have any energy, or I don't want to do anything, or does it make my thoughts, I feel hazy or whatever, feel like a zombie. And they, you know, titrate you off that and put you on something else. So it's kind of a trial and error type of situation. So, but it's not going to make you become a psycho like that. Like, not that. I don't and looking at her now, she still has no, I would say, remorse for her mother, because I didn't see that in the trial even. I saw her cry a lot. She was very snotty and very upset, but more about her stepdad. Um, and she missed school. She misses school a lot. Again, she still talks to her friends. Her friends' families still let them talk to her, which is nice, I guess. I think people still see her as a child, and she is. She's just a child. Unfortunately, she's a child who did something absolutely horrific, and she has to pay the price for that. And that's what the jury decided. And I think that I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm not a professional. I am just giving the information as I saw it in the trial. And I want to make sure that I'm just giving my opinion. And my opinion is, I don't believe there's anything crazy going on with Carly and her stepdad. I think they had as normal of a blended family as they could have. And I believe that Carly, unfortunately, because she was so smart, she's hanging around with older kids, and she wanted to be something that she wasn't, and she honestly just had no idea where she fit in, and that's really sad. And she made a really permanent decision that was awful. And now her mom is no longer here, and now Carly will spend the rest of her life in prison. And I don't know what to make of that. It's really sad, and I pray for her, and I hope that everyone will just be able to pray that she is able to find a way to make a life for herself in prison, maybe even become some type of educator in there, and help others in some way. But I hope that everyone will remember Ashley Smiley as the beautiful, wonderful educator, woman, mother, wife, everything that she was, that I never knew, but I hope that she will be remembered and never forgotten. And I hope that she won't be remembered for the way she was taken away from this planet, but remembered for everything that she gave, and that she will be remembered for being the teacher and educator and mother that she was, and not for this awful last moments of her life. So, and I hope everyone will pray for Carly, and hope that one day she will understand what she did and realize that she wasn't insane. She did something really awful, and she has to understand that there are consequences and repercussions to her actions, and this is a forever. Her mom is no longer here forever, and Carly has to pay for that forever. So, uh, that is today's video. And I appreciate you all so very much. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share this video. And I hope that you will all keep in mind of who these videos are really about. As much as these people are sensationalized on social media and in the news and everywhere, there are actually people who are no longer with us. And Ashley Smiley is no longer with us. So please remember to pray for those who have been lost, and pray for those who are still here and are paying the price for that loss, and pray for those families. Pray for Heath Smiley, because I do believe he has not had the opportunity to mourn officially. And I hope that Ashley Smiley's family will finally be able to actually take the time to mourn and be there for Carly as well, because she will need her family still. So thank you so much for watching. 감사합니다. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you in the next video.